time to hear from you. Welcome to Point of View.
And hello, and welcome to What's Your Point of View? My name is Tracey D Syphax, and for the next few minutes, I want to just introduce myself and be able to tell you why I'm standing in front of you right now. My name is Tracey Syphax. I was born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey. Well, actually born in Asbury Park, New Jersey, but raised in Trenton, New Jersey, and came up in the earlier years in Trenton, New Jersey during the crack epidemic and spent a few years in prison, actually about 7 years on 2 different occasions. But since then, I've came home in 1993 and completely changed my life around. And I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you in these next few minutes. My charge now here for these next few minutes, and my charge for my purpose and what do I do on a daily basis, is to put a new face on reentry. And when I say about reentry, I'm talking about those who are formerly incarcerated that are coming home from prison, those that don't look like this man that is standing in front of you right now, but my job is to put a new face on that. I am an ex-offender. I am the formal number 226926. I spent about 7 years in prison myself, but what I've been able to do since I've been home since 1993 was I've been able to create a couple of multi-million-dollar corporations. I've been able to do that because of a couple of things. Number one, it was the motivation, and the motivation for me happened in 1995, October 1995, and this October we will go back and celebrate those 20-year anniversary, and that was the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. The Million Man March in 1995, when I attended, changed my life forever. One of the things that I heard Minister Farrakhan say at the march was that if you couldn't find a job, your charge was to go back to your community and create a job. I understood exactly what he meant. Even though I was working at that time, I understood what the mission was. The mission was to build economic empowerment in our communities. So when I came back from the Million Man March 6 months later, 6 months after that, I started my first business. I started my first business not with a loan from a bank. I started my first business by just saving my money, working very hard, 8 hours a day, and then after that, working another 8 hours until 8 o'clock at night doing side jobs. And what we called back in the day when I was in the street, hustling. So I've become a legitimate hustler. And what I've done, I've been able to put hours in at an early time to really grow my business, to invest back into my business. But since then, I've been able to create a couple of million-dollar businesses. One of those businesses is a construction company called the Phax Group, Construction and Design, which is located in Trenton, New Jersey, and we do have an office also in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. And what we do in the construction company, we design, we build, we fabricate, we rehab houses throughout the inner cities, and mainly a lot of them in the community that I live in. And on the flip side, and the other side of that, we've been able to create a real estate development company. And we've been able to do that and marriage those two things together to create the million-dollar corporations that we've been able to do. So these things that I've been able to do and these things that I've done over the years is nothing that's new to me. I did this when I was in the street. I know about marketing, I know about sales, I know about customers, I knew about all those things, but I did those things in a negative way. So now what we're doing now is taking that negative and turning it into a positive. The same attributes of a successful entrepreneur is one that is able to take risks. There's no more people that are taking more risks than the person that's standing on the corner with that dynamite in their pocket. There's no person taking more of a risk than the person that's running up into a liquor store with a shotgun to steal something. Those are attributes of someone who can be successful in business and be successful in running a corporation. I say all the time, some of our biggest and brightest and most talented business owners are in prison. They're in jail, languishing, a lot of them, on trumped-up charges in a failed war on drugs that started back in the 70s and that continued through the 80s. But we're not going to dwell on where we were. We're going to talk about where we're going. And where we're going with this mission that I'm on is through entrepreneurship, through building wealth inside the African-American community, because we hear all the time, people will tell you once you have made it and once you become successful, that your thing is to move out of your hood. My thing is no, it's to move in your hood, buy your hood, and build up your hood to the way you want it. So what I've been able to do in Trenton, New Jersey is that I'm one of the second private citizens ever in the history of the city to have built a private residence in Trenton. Same place I grew up in, same place I used to live in. I built my home there. And the reason why I built my home there is because I wanted to be visible there. My office, rehabbed the building, Martin Luther King Boulevard, just like every other Martin Luther King Boulevard across this country. Same challenges, same crime, same problems, but once again, I wanted to be that shining example in that neighborhood of what we can be and what we can aspire to be. I talk about this in my book titled From the Block to the Boardroom, is how I grew up in the 70s on a strip called Stuyvesant Avenue in Trenton, New Jersey, which is probably about 2 or 3 miles long, that had about 11 businesses there, everything from restaurant, candy store, cleaners, hoagie shop, barber shop, men's clothing shop. But the thing was, all those shops were owned by African Americans. I had an opportunity as a young man growing up in Trenton to see firsthand on a daily basis what a black entrepreneur looked like. That way I could aspire to be that. Our kids don't see that today. My charge is to show them that. Our charge together is to embrace entrepreneurship, embrace our communities, and let's help rebuild our communities. My name is Tracey D Syphax. From the Block to the Boardroom, www.f2tb.com, on Twitter at Tracey Syphax, on Facebook at Tracey Syphax, and at From the Block to the Boardroom. Thank you and good evening.
It's time to hear